Hey guys, a quick review of the story of Only Daughter. Remember that you can go to Edge Textbook Online. Touching that link will take you to the MyNG Connect website. You will have to put in a username and password. It's the same one you use for Infinite Campus and everything else. So Only Daughter is called a memoir. A memoir is a type of narrative nonfiction. It tells about a certain time in the writer's life and is told in the writer's own words. A memoir usually includes details about important events and people in the writer's life, why these events and people are important, and how they affected the writer. All right, so narrative means it's like a story. Nonfiction means it's real. So this is a real story about the writer's life. Now the writer is Sandra Cisneros. Sandra Cisneros, oof, make this smaller, is the lady who's going to show up right here. Yeah, there she is. Okay, so here's Sandra Cisneros. So this is a real story about Sandra Cisneros' life. Now it's called Only Daughter. Do you remember why? Oh yeah, because she had all those brothers and she was the only girl in her family. She says that explains a lot about who she is. She has a Mexican father and a Mexican-American mother. She's from a working class family. And the circumstances of her life were that she spent a lot of time by herself. Her brothers didn't always want to hang out with her, but being alone helped her to think and to read and to practice writing. She wanted to be a writer when she grew up. Now, she needed to go to college to do that. But remember, my father thought college was good for girls for finding a husband. So both Sandra and her father wanted her to go to college, but she wanted to learn how to be a better writer. Her father thought she would meet a husband there. She did not meet a husband there, but she did become a good writer. We'll look at this vocabulary word, destiny. Now, her destiny means like what she will become in the future. Her father thought it was important for her to get married. She wanted to become an author. Sandra so much wanted her father's approval. She wanted her father to like the books that she writes, but he doesn't really understand it. All right, now this page is actually the part that you did your assignment on last week. Let's look at this map here. All right, now we see this is Chicago. That is where she grew up. Remember how they live in Chicago, but then her father said, oh, I miss Mexico. It was so beautiful in Mexico. Come on, family, we have to go to Mexico. So they packed up and drove their car all the way to Mexico City. They lived there for a while, but then they went back to Chicago. I think that maybe they moved back to Chicago because they had better schools than Mexico. Maybe the father and mother's jobs were in Chicago. I'm not quite sure. Sandra doesn't tell us in her memoir, but we can make some guesses. But we know that her father really loves Mexico. It says he suffered periodic bouts of nostalgia. That means sometimes he misses Mexico. And then they go back to Chicago. Something else that her father did was he really wanted his children to be successful. Maybe you feel that with your family too. Something that Sandra's father would always say is that he'd say, use this, not this. What he meant was find a job where you can use your brain, where you can be smart and make smart choices. And he said, don't get a job where you have to use your hands all the time to construction, to build buildings, or to work in a factory. He said, that's going to make you tired to always use your hands. To get a job where you can use your brain. then Sandra tells about how she went to college. She was writing for 10 years, and she finally started to make some money at being a writer. She went home to Chicago for Christmas time, and that's when she shared her writing with her father. And the book that she shared with her father was translated into Spanish. It was published in Mexico, and it was kind of about the place where her father was from. And this is here at the end of the story. It says, I sat in the bed next to my father and waited. He read it very slowly, as if he were reading each line over and over. He laughed at all the right places and read lines he liked out loud. He pointed and asked questions. Is this so-and-so? Yes, I said. He kept reading. When he was finally finished, after what seemed like hours, my father looked up and asked, where can we get more copies for all of this for the relatives? Of all the wonderful things that happened to me that last year, that was the most wonderful. Here's a picture of Sandra Cisneros and that book that she had wrote about, kind of about her father's life. Now, it says that her father asked, where can we get more of these books so we can give to our family? And that's kind of the clue that her father finally approves of her writing. Remember, the whole time in her life, Sandra wants her father to approve, wants her father's approval. And so that's where she says, that was the most wonderful thing that happened to me. All right. For more details, you can, of course, come back to the book, read it some more, but hopefully that helps you understand kind of the big ideas from this story. I hope that some of you maybe find some connections with Sandra Cisneros. In writing class, you guys did a project about the hometown of someone in your family, a special place. Just like Sandra's dad always remembered the special place in Mexico, I think there's probably a special place for people in your family that they remember in their home country. And just like Sandra's father had big dreams for his children, I wonder if maybe your parents have big dreams for you too. I'm sure that they want the best for you. And how you pursue that is up to you. I hope you enjoy reading this memoir.